Join us for an enlightening experience where you will gain a deeper understanding of the purpose and essence of opening your eyes. This is your chance to enhance self-awareness and personal growth with a shift in perception that provides a fresh outlook on life. Embrace the journey from consciousness to superconsciousness by Barrett Kunyan.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have Brother Storm again on this momentous day. Brother, welcome. It's always a pleasure, honor to have you on our show.
Thank you.
I'm really, really excited. If you can just tell us where you are at the moment. I'm sure we're all dying to know your movement.
Sure. Lovely to see you, Barrett. Really good to see you.
To see you.
We're speaking to you from Glastonbury on Avon in Avalon, England. It's very, very beautiful here. As you know, there's the Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge. I've just come from Stonehenge after the equinox, spending the equinoxial time there. And we've come down to Glastonbury because, as everybody knows, the solstice is happening today. So let's just pause there because I have a different view on this whole take of what they're calling the solstice. I more call it, instead of a solar eclipse I'm referring to. So instead of calling it a solar eclipse, I'm referring to it as a lunar eclipse. Because when the moon blocks out the sun, the moon is the dominant. So it's actually a lunar eclipse. It's a moon eclipse. And the sun is being dominated for that period of time. And the light of life, the sun, the source of all life, natural life, stipulating natural life, is blotted out for a certain amount of time. That there can never be a good thing. If you saw the sun as a life, you would be putting your life on pause for 4.5 so-called minutes. So this thing is critical in the larger perspective of life, in the realm. The light and the source of life for the realm is being paused. The heart of nature is being paused. So this is a contemplative thing as how you feel about that. So yeah, I'm looking. Yeah.
Intuitively, how do you think it's going to sit amongst people or the planet as a whole? Because it's going to obviously affect every living organism on the planet, and we as humans are sort of anxious, whether it's a positive or negative. I'm pretty neutral about it, but what's your take, brother, on this?
Yeah. So the word "the Great Reset" comes to mind.
Okay.
So if there were ever a great reset of a realm, this would be it. It's called recalibration. So we utilize it in technology constantly. Most people know it in the realm of police use a speed gun to track your speed of your vehicle. And the greatest contradiction in that topic, in that arena of conversation, is, was the speed gun calibrated prior to the activity, the usage of it? And often you can get away with that. So this looks like a recalibration.
Sounds rather positive to me, this calibration business. I mean, it sits quite comfortably with me. Do you also do you also feel that people's intentions, do you think they need to park up in a certain way for this event? Do you think people should be a bit more restful, more relaxed, bit chilled out? Should they have any expectation?
So my message is always positive, but in the case of a recalibration, of a
Yeah.
firearm, a missile, a nuclear weapon, that would not be positive.
Right.
Right. So if we were utilizing a negative activity or creating a negative realm, or the masters of the realm were negative as per se the realm, you would expect
Yeah.
a negative recalibration. So
Yeah.
what we're asking of all awakened aware beings across the realm over this hour is to hold the light, hold the sun, hold the source of all life while the moon attempts to do its thing. And I say that because it's a great deception in our realm and amongst our people, all of us as a consciousness, that the moon is worthy of homage from the woman of the realm. So
Right.
the female energies, which all honor the moon and give their energy through their cycle to the moon constantly, should be sending that energy, redirecting it to the sun, the source of all life. Now we know the sun
Yeah.
is the source of all life because it keeps fauna and flora, nature, alive, of which we are the fauna part or part of fauna, animals, flora being the plants. So in this event, the moon is going to block out the source of all light for a period of time. We, as the source consciousness, and that being our energy source, we as batteries, and that being our charge, we need to hold that charge connected while somebody's attempting to disconnect it, or something being the moon. That's what we'll be doing tonight on the tour, or this evening later, holding that energy until the sun can come through again. So
Yeah.
the way to do that, literally as a battery, as part of an aspect of consciousness or piece of this puzzle, a very important piece, every single being, is simple. Left hand to the sky, right hand to the ground. If you have tools, shamanic tools, crystals, something, you're receiving from the sun as a cathode, like a cathedral, and you're giving to the earth as an anode. So you're drawing in the light and, and connecting the earth. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing the job of the sun as human consciousness. So our source of light is going to go out for a bit. So we're going to hold it. We're going to hold its frequency, its vibration. That's the important thing. We are going to hold the sun's high elevated frequency in the ultraviolet spectrum, while the moon is going to attempt to bring us down to the infrared frequency. We're not going to allow that. We're going to hold the vibration literally. That's what that phrase means. Hold the vibration. That's what we're going to do. Just to round that off, the lunar cycle, that the woman energy, the feminine divine energy, the intuitive psychic energy of the system that should be filtering through to the males instructively, is going to the moon, to the masters of the realm, which are dominating the realm as a master servant relationship. Whereas that feminine divine energy really needs to go back to the sun, because the sun is the giver of all life, and then those who receive life give back. That's the cycle. But what's happening in the realm is the UV light is coming into us, and we descending the light, downing the frequency, lowering it, degrading the program, and then honoring the moon, like just shifting the energy on. It's wasting. We're just running it
Yeah.
through us like like a conduit, instead of being a charged battery and holding frequency here in the realm. And that's the very reason why the realm frequency is so low. And you see it out here in the realm. The behavior is ridiculous. So
Yes.
that that's what's happening. It's a frequential thing. We need to raise the vibration, literally.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for that. I was going to say, has it ever happened that when we kind of phrasing it in a way like a reset? Has there ever been a reset of this magnitude before?
Often. And the greatest reset was what we call BCAD.
Right.
Right. So this wasn't a story about a person or to create a religion. It was literally a reset of time.
Yeah.
So to explain that simply, and we'll bring the moon cycle back into that in a minute to explain that and time. 2024 years ago, if you take that time as legit, there was a great reset, and time as a cycle in a circle, like the four seasons, what we could call a yearly cycle, just goes around and around in a cyclical fashion. It cannot be altered. There's no man that can alter the seasons. But we have attempted to. We have attempted to with what you call the lunar calendar. So the lunar calendar has attempted to negate the equation of 13 times 28, which is 364. I know a year is 365. It'll be explained in a minute, but it's very close to a complete year. It's a cyclical seasonal year. 13 months, months times 28. Each one is 28. So that gives you 364 days, one cycle. Now you can never change that. No, nobody can change that, but we have attempted to. And I'll show you that in a graph in a moment. In fact, let's go into that. Let's show you the lunar cycle right here. Let me just bring it in for you. Right. Got you that on camera? So over here, I'm just going to bring it into your camera a little more this way. We have a 13 month or month cycle. 13 times 28. There's the equation. Let's bring it into the camera. One sec. That's it. Good. 13 times 28. Now, what's important is this side. This is your lunar cycle or your month calendar from where you get the day, which is today, moon day, Monday. So, this is your month calendar and it's moon day today. And we have the moon eclipse. Looking at this, you will see very much so at the bottom, we're missing the 13th month of 28 days. That's because it's been sprinkled amongst all these months or moons. And now you have 31 and 30. So every genuine month like Aquarius, February of 28 days, is now manipulated into a deceptive month period of 30 to 31 days, out by 2 and 3 days every cycle. By the time you get to the bottom, you're missing one whole cycle. So all the woman, all the feminine divine energy is cycling in a cycle of 12, what we call system 12, where they should be cycling in system 13, the natural cycle. This one. Just put it forward for you. You can pause on that and look if you need to. I'll just bring it back. So the problem is, instead of all the feminine energy cycling through 13 times 28 and staying in the seasonal cycle and running with life, They're out by one whole month, every cycle, completely out of time. As you know, if a clock is out of time, it's pointless. There's no point. It doesn't work. It doesn't hold. It's not doing its function. So the feminine divine energy in the realm, which primal job is to intuit, download psychically, and transmit the information to the male realm, which is to carry it out physically, is dysfunctional. So all the men out here, they don't know what to do because the feminine divine doesn't take direction from the sun anymore. The feminine divine part of like a computer, if you want to look at it technologically, is not receiving the downloads, and it's not transmitting the downloads to the appropriate mechanism to carry out the function, which is us. So we don't know what to do. We're not being told. So we're doing what we want. So everybody's lost. And the females are giving their energy to the moon instead of the sun. So we're very, very lost as a consciousness and a people at the moment. And right now, you've got people honoring and seeing this as a wonderful thing, the eclipse, when it's clearly not. It's clearly obvious that the light of all life is about to be challenged. The heart, the pulse of the realm is about to be seriously challenged. So we need to be aware of that. We're part of this realm. It's one biosystem, one bioactivated symbiotic natural system. So if we're not very careful, we're going to be manipulated and deceived into losing the cycles of nature. We're going to lose the cyclical 13 times 28 calendar or time cycle. It's going to continually be manipulated to 12. And that's super dangerous. And we're going to continue to give away the energy to the moon instead of to the sun, which is the source of all life. You could extract the moon from this realm and nothing would happen. If you just the tides of the ocean would pause back to the way they were before the moon was towed in here, which is written in all ancient texts, how the moon was brought in here and began to manipulate the waters. But if you took the sun out, the realm ceases. To me, it's obvious which is more important. So,
Yeah.
so that, yeah, so that's very obvious that according to the eclipse, the moon is not a good thing. And according to the feminine cycle, the moon is not a good thing either. And the deception of the moon being reflected sunlight, ultraviolet light, is false. The light coming off the moon monitored is a cold light that is not ultraviolet whatsoever. The moon moves in cycles of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, which we know is the mark of the beast in the realm. We know what 666 is branded as across the realm. And we know that because the tides move at 6, 6 in, 6 out, 6 in, 6 out. Tide comes in and out in a 6-hour cycle. That's pulsed by the moon. So in our realm, the moon is holding 6 hourly time, and 6 and 6 is 12. That brings you back to the manipulated moon calendar of 12, what we refer to constantly as we see these systems in the moon, in time, in reality, and several other. As I show you these graphs, you will see the same problem evolving. 13 has been manipulated to 12. So we call nature system 13 of squiggles, sacred, feminine, sacred geometry, feminine divine, curvaceous, semicircular, circular, spherical, male geometry, straight lines, and angles. So we know when we find non natural archaeological sites because we have lines and angles, usually called steps. Whereas in nature, there are no lines and angles. Everything is Mother Nature, curvaceous, served by Mother Sun, a sphere, not particularly Father Sun. That's kind of a dominatory idea. This whole realm is feminine. There's not really one bit of evidence of a male in Mother Nature. Everything is feminine. Or there are no straight lines or angles. There's no presence of male geometry. Therefore, there's no presence of male anything if there's no form of male, which means that this realm used to be purely female. And there's lots of evidence of the kind of idea of the virgin birth, where females used to intuit their child and birth the child without necessity to a male at all. For instance, physical, penetrative sex was not necessary. It came into the realm at some point. The females were quite fine and divine before the male energy came in, which doesn't make male energy negative or bad or evil or wrong. It's just some systems are feminine, some systems are masculine, and some systems are cohabitable. That's how it works. That's the three options. They're the only three options of negative, positive, and neutral. So, in the realm of Mother Earth, it's a feminine divine system. And without the females intuiting the system from the sun, downloading the information constantly streamed through from the sun, everything is lost in the realm. So that's what's not happening. The females are not intuiting for the males, and the males are not getting their information and carrying it forth. So nobody's doing their thing. So we're in a really low vibrational infrared frequency, whereas we need to be in an ultraviolet frequency, really high. That relates to, on a tonal level, to the higher tone would be something like T, and the lower tone obviously is Om. So we live in a world of opposites here because we taught that to raise the vibration or be spiritual, or hippies are taught that Om is a good thing to meditate on, but it's not. It's the lowest vibration possible. It's not bad. Sometimes we need to lower the vibration, but it's not to raise the vibration, which is really interesting. There's two other little examples there to point out what I'm saying. For instance, like the color in the traffic light system. You have red, amber, green. Red is stop, green is go, amber's in the middle. That's positive, neutral, and negative, positive, negative, neutral. But here's the thing. Everybody knows on the electromagnetic spectrum, of which we are a part, that red is the most dynamic color. It has the most energy. It's extreme, and that all sports, fashion, etc., use red as dynamic, like red to a bull, a red rag to a bull, etc., etc. So you have this immense energy coming out of redness, material energy, strong force, like a bull. Whereas ultraviolet, purple, is the higher spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. And green is in the neutral level of that, at the heart level, at the natural level, at nature level, which is about meditation, calming, relaxing. So, really, the traffic light system is another example of a world of opposites. Red means go, green means pause, meditate, contemplate, and stop. Right. So, if we transfer that again as a further example, last one, to yin and yang, we have yang is male, white. Yin is female, dark, moist, seductive, psychic, that side. So the female is black, the male is white. Now let's go to the bridal marriage system that we carry out on this plane. And you can see how you're in a world of opposites. The male should be in a white tuxedo, and the female should be in a black dress. But it's switched again, like the traffic lights, like, yes. So we see we're in a world of opposites. a dual system. And just to close that little captivate that little bit, people think we're in the third dimension. The third dimension is a prism, triangles in 3D, a prism. I'm holding what's called a prism in my hand. It's a third dimensional triangular geometry. So in the realm, you should see triangles everywhere. You don't. That's the third dimension. Let's step up one to the fourth dimension. It looks like this. It's cubular, cubes. Now I ask you, we see cubes everywhere in our realm. Every single street block is a block. Every single city is a grid reference pattern, the two-dimensional version of a cube, which is a square. Every house is built with cubes, every room, every hotel, every flat, all of them. We live in a cubed. We know we run by black rock, which is a black cube celebrated at Makkah, to which the Muslims travel their Mecca. This is a black cube. We're in a black cube realm, Saturnian realm, satanic fourth dimensional realm. So when people ask about the Mandela effect, it's because we moved from here to here and nobody noticed. The thing is, this is not such a good place to be. It's very fortress like. It's very controllable. It's very four-sided. It's very able to be split in two twos, in half, to divide and rule. But here's where we're heading. This is the geometry we're heading to, step by step. Now this you see the pyramids? Two
Yeah.
pyramids back to back. Remember, we've got a pyramid, was made thousands of years ago when we were in this geometry. Now we drop down through this realm to this realm. We drop down through the cube to the triangle. And now we're going back up from the third dimension to the fourth. And we'll pass through this to the fifth. And we will continue to the sixth and the seventh. And finally, we're going to go home to the eighth, completion. Now we're home. So that's the very reason why we're living in the world of opposites. Everything is in reverse. People are totally confused. And to wrap it all up, the idea of the Aquarian age being entered right now as the golden age is literally impossible, because that would be a zodiacal agenda placed upon humanity. And I'll show you in a graph in a second exactly why that is impossible. But let's just understand that the Indians don't use the Western zodiac to explain the cycle called the zodiacal cycle, or the great year of 26,000 years, not 25,920. This is a miscalculation and understanding. The Indians use a cycle called yugas. Now, these are periods split up. We won't go into it, but periods of a circle. So, parts of a circle. The part of the sphere of 26,000 years, the part of this 26,000 year cycle that we are just finishing, is known to the Indians in India as Kali Yuga. Kali is the great destroyer, and then comes the Yuga of the great creator. So we are at the end of the great destruction, as we can see out here in the realm. We are nowhere near entering a golden age. We are entering the Iron Age, and it's pretty rusty at the moment. And what we've got to do is clean up our act by raising the frequency and vibration, literally ascending up this polyhedral ladder, ascending up these shapes geometrically, which is in the book. That's what the book is about. And raising the vibration so we reach that golden age. But that usually takes a consciousness several thousand years, at least 7 to 9, to reach that state. So we are a distance from the great Aquarian age, the golden age, and Satla. This is all deception to put us into a false sense of security, thinking we have arrived at the end when we are at the beginning. So that's basically what that's about. And it is positive. It's a positive message to know the truth. It's never negative to know the truth, even if the truth is a little bit different to what you expected. The truth is always positive. It's only a lie that can be negative. There is no negative truths.
That was awesome, brother. I mean, people who are kind of homing into our conversation, they may be asking reference to, I mean, for me, this information is vibrating on authenticity, but there might be a few out there questioning reference to where your information has come from. Could you add some light to that, please?
Absolutely. So basically, what happened to me is, and I don't want to use this as something special happened, but I had a serious death experience at 19, a double death experience. 2 weeks later, I died a second time. And that experience had an effect in my life. Um, we don't have to go into how, when, where, why, what, but basically, it led me onto a new path of discovery. And that path of discovery ended up at 38 years old. So 19 times 19. So this basic death experiences occurred at 19. So 19 years later, once I'd, let's say, balanced the equation, I sat down and had a 4 year sabbatical and wrote the books called The Book of Orb in 4 parts, known as these beautiful books: The Origin of Orb, All the Shapes Inside Orb, which is hiding right now there, the Rainbow Spiral of Orb. Oh, let's get in the camera. And this way, the guide. Now, inside these beautiful books, very simply, the first book, let's just go to the beginning. The first, the first book, The Origin of Orb, explains in a beautiful, poetic, very super simplistic form the flower of life and its creation and what it means, which is basically the source energy pattern, just basic energy available. The second book explains these guys that I just showed you, called the polyhedrons, and how what they are, how they are, and how they are inside this circle or the sphere. The third beautiful book, The Rainbow Spiral of Orb, really gets into my deliverance. So the flower of life and the polyhedrons is sacred geometry par excellence. Extremely difficult subject for most people to capture, and had to be studied in volumes and volumes and volumes for years until I could grasp it, simplify it, and get it down to this where I could transmit it to other people that they could get it. It's no good talking like Einstein to people because it's just pointless. It doesn't make any sense. It's just good to speak the language of a person. If you're speaking to a Russian, you need to speak Russian. No point speaking Sanskrit, is there? So the Rainbow Spiral of Orb is a very, very deep book explaining your electromagnetic system. That little spectrum of light between the gamma rays, the X-rays, microwaves, radio waves, that called electromagnetic, where we are stuck between ultraviolet and infrared. This book explains that through the chakra system, correcting the chakra system, and I'll show you those in graphs in a minute. I'm not just speaking out of turn. The seven chakra system is valid but incomplete. That incompleteness makes it another broken machine that cannot be used. I've added the completion of one frequential vibration, one chakra system called the indigo chakra or the indigo system, the indigo color, and it's completed a full C major octave of music, which is what half of this that you're looking at, mirrored as it is above, so it is below, gives you your full electromagnetic spectrum of the body called the aura. And the aura and the movement of this electromagnetic system charges the battery known as the human. So that's what that book's about. And the last book, the final book, and this is a guide, literally a handbook that you can learn from. So this book explains and teaches everything about the chakras and their essences and why we have the chakras and what we can do with them and how we can really utilize them and increase the vibration of each chakra, which is a frequency. So, how to balance the frequency of each chakra, having added the missing chakra and mirrored the system, creating this, creating EMO, what we call the electromagnetic orb, EMO. Now, EMO, your electromagnetic orb, your aura, relates directly to your physical body through the canon of man. The canon of man developed, presented by Vitruvius or Da Vinci. So EMO connects all the electromagnetic spectrum, connects directly into the chakra points shown on the canon of man, which I'll present right now. So here you can see what's called, I'll just show you for reference, this chap here, known as the canon of man. So in this description, we have the far ratio of man looking like this. So we have the far ratio of man within Vitruvius man, and that is presented here within EMO. What I want to show you about this is that we have 13 joints or articulation points in the body. You have your 2 ankles, 2 knees, 2 hips, 2 wrists, 2 elbows, 2 shoulders, and a neck. That gives you 13 articulation points. Once again, showing we are of 13, not 12. So if I move into the chakras we were talking about, and we bring these over here for discussion. Let's just grab that. Oh, it's over here. Okay. And second, sorry to hold you up. Right, let's move into this. So, let's just use this. Let's bring it in close. So here we have the central point, the void. And we move up through the chakras, red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, violet, ultraviolet to white light. So let me just show you that in a better diagram over here. So what I'm saying is we've been offered this as the chakra system to date, a 7 chakra system with seated legs, which shows that we're basically shutting off information over here and we're hiding information and it's being manipulated. So the equivalent of 7 chakras looks like this in my system. We're dealing with the upper part to the thorax, but we're not dealing with anything below the legs, as you can see. So these two overlay like this. As you can see, we have a problem. Nobody's talking about the legs and the lowest part of the system. But when we do, we get a whole system like this. So from a half system, as above, so below, we get a whole system like this. So here we have an 8 chakra system from perineum, void to portal, and from void to portal down, it's mirrored. As it is above, so it is below. I'll show you a beautiful picture of that. This is how we get there. So this is the chakras. Let me just look into it like this so we can see. You see them by name. I'm going to show you the graph of how they're numbered. Notice the additional of the indigo chakra. You see from 0, 11, 22, 33, 44, the numbers going up the graph. That's because there are 11 spaces between each chakra. Right there, you can see the 11 spaces between each chakra. According to Vitruvius Man, which I just showed you, Da Vinci Man, the canon of man, which is at 176 centimeters from top to bottom, divided in two, that gives you 88 centimeters above and 88 centimeters below the void. 88 divided by 11 gives you 8 chakras, not 7. The spaces between the chakras, as you can see, are 11 centimeters, according to Vitruvius Man. If you're taller, they're a fraction more, but all in ratio, in perfect harmony. If you're shorter, they're a fraction shorter. That's what you look like atomically, according to your full chakra system functioning. That's what you look like when you extract your body. It's just an artist's impression of your atomic self without a body. That's your electromagnetic orb around your physical body. And there's another one, just to punch that beautiful picture home. So what I'm showing there is that the chakra system of 7 is an agenda, whether it's purposeful or not. It's an agenda of 7 chakras that is incomplete, and therefore we cannot ascend with that system. So the Book of Orb, which I displayed a minute ago, explains exactly in detail how that chakra is replaced, how the indigo chakra is replaced. You have a full system of color. It's as above, so below, and you have an whole aura. And just to wrap this up, I'm going to explain the color system, and then we'll have to wrap it up for now and do another session, because I've just been informed that we've got 10 minutes and the cafe is closing where we're using. So I'll give you this beautiful color spectrum. If you look at the chakra system, if you take the red chakra, orange chakra, yellow chakra, the first 3. So look at the red, skip the orange, and you got yellow. So take first and third, red and yellow, and you get orange. That's a formula. It works. Let's step up. The next chakra is the heart chakra. So we've taken red, orange, and yellow. So we take the heart chakra, green, the throat chakra, which some say is blue, and the first eye chakra, some call it the third eye, which is purple. If you match purple and green, you don't get blue. You get a mess. You kind of a splodgy color. So if we replace the indigo chakra that's missing, that I've replaced, we take green and indigo, you get turquoise. It works perfectly. If we go up to the first eye and we take purple and ultraviolet as the crown chakra, and white light as the portal above, closing the electromagnetic system, white and violet make ultraviolet. The system works perfectly. You have a 369 formula based on Tesla's systems of electromagnetic, vibrational, frequential understanding. It's beautiful.
Thank you, brother. That's awesome. As always, it's an honor to share space with you again. And
You.
we'll yeah. No, I mean it's really incredible stuff. So we'll tune in again. I don't know when you are physically available again, but I'm sure you'll relay some
I will.
in terms of when.
I'm always physically available and with pleasure. It's just the Wi-Fi we've got to get, as we realized last time. I just need to get a good Wi-Fi, and I'll let you know in a few days, and we do some more.
Thank you so much for your time and your beautiful presence, and we'll endeavor to catch up soon.
Thank you, Barrett, and we'll do a much longer one next time. Thank you very much.
Bioactivator would like to thank you for your kind support and donations. Through Barrett Tunian's guardianship of this platform, his activation of truth harmonizes, neutralizes, and unblocks the meridians that connect, balance, and purify all that comes in contact. Do no harm is the key that fully opens the heart's voice to be in the union of the I Am presence, and will represent every living organism on the planet whose voice would otherwise not be heard. Remember, the truth will set you free. Do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others. Love, light, and gratitude.